Welcome back to Collected Works, where we are talking about the works of Kate Bush throughout her career. Played you a couple live ones, well, one live one there. And now we're gonna talk. This is our final chat about Kate Bush for the day. This is gonna be all about her singles and B-sides that were on her albums, because some of our favorite stuff is from those,
Yeah.
for sure. Obviously, we've got this here.
December Will Be Magic Again is from 1980, and it's been on things since, but at the time it was just a one-off single with not attached to anything.
I love it when artists do a Christmas single that they write themselves, and especially when they do it right. And Kate Bush does it right. She does, for one, I think across her discography, she's great at the feeling, at like conveying the feeling she's feeling. And this is very much like that feeling you get at Christmas time, the warm fuzzies, and like she's great at conveying that in the song. So I love this one a lot as well. But go on, I'm sorry.
That's basically all I'm going to say about that. And it also has a B-side that wasn't on anything else until the album The Other Sides has a lot of the non-LP B-sides and things like that. So kind
Oh,
of caught up with all those
sorry.
B-sides that I had to collect all those singles to get.
Yeah, what are some of your singles you have? Because you're holding some of your singles, but you're
Yeah.
not sharing.
Other than this, moving to 1986, Experiment 4, which I think we played earlier, right?
No, we
Hey, you
didn't.
can't top me.
We we didn't. That's my choice for the singles section. Experiment 4 was not an album track.
It
Um,
actually came out as the single off of Raise Them Both. Wait, Raise It. The whole story, which was a compilation of like greatest hits, best of, except there was one new song, which was Experiment 4.
Also, interestingly enough, the B side on this is December Will Be Magic Again. And on the 12-inch, also Wuthering Heights, a newly recorded vocal. She recorded the vocals for that, I think, 3 distinct times, but I might be getting it mixed up with George Harrison's My Sweet Lord, which he did multiple times.
I know, I think she did do it twice
Well, she did,
because I
I'm
think
saying
it's
she
on
did it
the
at
director's
least
cut too.
twice.
It's not a director's cut. But anyway, yeah, that would be the B side of the original was Wuthering Heights.
Yeah. So, but the 12-inch also has the December Will Be Magic Again. So, but yeah, Experiment 4, the video for it is very interesting, very haunting. It's a very well done video, I think, in terms of like all of her.
It's a little movie,
Yeah, well, I mean,
and I
she
think she
loves
did
doing that.
redirect it herself.
I think you're right. I think she, yes, because at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame they had part of her storyboard for it that she,
Was that? Oh yeah,
yeah. So if you get up to Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has that. What's
they also have
interesting,
one of those original headsets
and they have
for her
the
tour.
and they have the video from the Snowman,
Yeah, the
from 50
the
Words for Snow.
what do you call it? The puppets or whatever.
Yeah. Um, what I would say, especially with Experiment 4, but like with a deeper understanding and with a lot of her stuff, she has a real penchant for writing science fiction stories in her songs. So Experiment 4 is about like the government's experimenting with sound weapons, and they end up finding this very
Sound that could kill
seductive,
someone from a
yes,
distance.
this very seductive sound weapon that is just very totally like destructive. And the video has Hugh Laurie in it and
Dawn French.
Dawn French, whose name I lost for a second there, and her boyfriend at the time, right?
Yeah, Del Palmer, who was also one of her band members.
So if you haven't checked that video out, I highly recommend it. It was also my favorite video on Your Whole Story VHS. So, um, but in terms of other singles, we're gonna play you those. We got more stuff to talk about.
Okay, well, in 1987, she was on the Ferry Aid charity single "Let It Be," which was for a ferry disaster that happened, and
Not like with, yeah, Ferry, just to be clear.
and yeah, so I guess the Sun had given away cheap tickets for the ferry, and so they felt kind of responsible. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
197 people died or something, and so they tried to set this up, and a lot of people didn't want to be associated with the Sun,
Yeah, which is
but they
fair.
did it for the charity. So that's just Boy George, Paul McCartney, Kate Bush. There's lots of Mark Knopfler, a lot of people on that one. I'm not sure you can. get this anywhere. I don't know if it's on.
I don't know if it's on streaming, no.
I don't know if it's on the
It
other
might be
sides or not. But also in 1980, I think right, she backed up. I think it's 1986. She did a duet with Peter Gabriel. You were talking about something
though. Yeah,
interesting about
so
this one.
so Peter Gabriel wanted to do this song as a duet. And he wanted to work with Dolly Parton. He absolutely wanted to work with Dolly Parton. He'd always admired her. And Dolly Parton was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll do a song with you. Like I kind of like what you've done." And then when it came time for them to do it together, their tour schedules didn't line up and they weren't able to do it. So he had to find somebody else to be on the song with him. And think of goodness, I don't know who it was suggested Kate Bush, but it
I thought
wasn't.
they had worked together before, actually.
I don't
I'm
think
sure
they
because
had. It
I
seems
think
like a
they're
natural.
yeah.
It seems like
I
a
was gonna
natural
say
pairing.
they're more who you would think of as a duet than Peter Gabriel and Dolly Parton. Although Dolly could do it.
No, for sure. I think of that kind of like in Peter Gabriel's mind at least it was probably something more similar to the Pet Shop Boys working with Dusty Springfield, you
Yeah.
know. It was the idea of working with kind of a hero, but
Mhm.
but they as contemporaries worked well together on the song and mentally it just makes sense. You're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, some like art post art pop like which is what Peter Gabriel is, and that's also seemingly what Kate Bush did. So, but charities used in charity commercials in the
Oh,
90s
yeah,
very
it
heavily.
was for Runaway Kids, I think was the ad that it got used in.
Yeah, so you may have never known any Kate Bush music until recently, but I would almost promise you that you heard the Peter Gabriel Kate Bush single on
Yeah.
TV when if you grew up at the same time I did anyway.
And then this was Candle in the Wind, Rocket Man and Candle in the Wind, which she did for an album called Two Rooms in 1991, which was various people doing the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin.
Which they've done more recently. Dua Lipa famously covered an Elton John song and made it a hit again.
What was that?
Um,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. I can't
I didn't
remember
mean to
right
knock
now.
you out.
People were a little bit upset because Dua Lipa was like Elton John's final concert. Dua Lipa like was posted on Instagram about her being at home, and they're like, "Why aren't you playing that song with Elton
Mm,
John?"
maybe he didn't ask her.
Yeah, maybe we're not sure, but yeah, there's been a more recent covers album of Elton John songs, but this is the original one that I didn't even know about actually. I knew
She's
she'd
got
done
a lot of
Rocket
different
Man.
people on it.
Her version of Rocket Man is very good in fairness too.
She's
We got any other singles we want to talk about?
I think we have hit the bottom of everything that you'll
Well,
let me do.
there are a lot of B-sides and singles that you can look up, and it's
The Other
on
Sides
the other
is
sides.
the album with that on it.
But right now, let's play Experiment 4 and December Will Be Magic again, which if you're not in the Christmas spirit right now, you can go ahead and skip that one. We won't
It
hate you
just
for
don't
it.
have to be Christmas to listen to
Yeah, and also you can go back to it later. I listen, if you're listening to One Mind Tracks around Christmas, odds are I'm gonna play it on there, so you'll have another chance.